These are the best time management techniques to get everything done because we all have more things to do and very little time. So I have been researching and testing these techniques for months and the results I've got were mind-blowing. If you're tired of making to-do lists and never completing them, then the first time management technique comes from a very famous motivational speaker Tony Robbins, which is rapid planning method. In this method, you ditch the to-do list but focus on creating a vision of what you want and why do you want it. To utilize this method, you need to ask these three questions. What do I really want? What is my purpose and what do I need to do? When you answer these three questions, you will have a clear understanding of what you want and if it is actually necessary or not. When you are creating a to-do list, you write down what you think you need to do, but the most important thing gets left out, which is the why. When your why is clear, you will survive anyhow. By following this technique, you will know what to do, why to do it, and you will also create small steps to follow which will set you up for success. But one of the things that hinders our progress is our inability to complete the tasks that we wrote down. So the following is another very famous time management technique which is also one of my favorites because it makes discipline easy. So the second time management technique that we are going to talk about is time blocking. Time blocking is a technique where you divide your day into blocks of time, each dedicated to a specific task or group of tasks. In this method, you block out specific time for specific actions. To use this technique, you need to start by defining your priorities. Make a list of all the things that are important to you. Include those tasks which will make your day complete. You can include a task that improves you physically, mentally, and spiritually. After that, break down the tasks into blocks. Divide your tasks into manageable activities. These might include different time blocks for meetings, emails, deep work, personal time, and so on. While using this technique, you can also use another very famous productivity technique, which is the Pomodoro technique, in which you work for 25 minutes and take a 5-minute break, or work for 90 minutes and take a 10-minute break. After that, assign each task into a specific slot in your calendar. While doing this, pick suitable tasks in appropriate time. For example, if you are most productive in the morning, dedicate that time to your most challenging work. One of the most important things that people often miss while managing their time is taking breaks. When we think about productivity, we often think about the long working hours, but actual productivity is also taking breaks in between them to recharge. Try to use this technique and be strict with it. Remember, the more you do it, the better you will become. So don't get discouraged midway but be consistent with your actions. But it is also very important to review and adjust accordingly. At the end of the day or the week, review how well your time blocks work and adjust future time blocks based on what you learned. Let's say you have a long list of things to do. Which one will you do first, the easiest task or the hardest one? Well, it depends on your mood and motivation levels. Let's look at both of them. When you start with the hardest task first, you tackle it when your mind is fresh and your energy is high. This strategy is often called the eat the frog. It helps reduce procrastination since you get the most challenging work out of the way first. Afterwards, the rest of the day feels easier by comparison. On the other hand, if your motivation levels are low and you feel overwhelmed by the tasks, you can start with easiest tasks to build momentum. It gives you a sense of achievement early, which also provides you a psychological boost which makes it easier to transition into harder tasks. There is another very famous technique which is called the 2-minute rule, which states that if a task takes you less than 2 minutes to do it. Making your bed takes 2 minutes to do, so you can do it first thing in the morning, so you get a small win early in the morning which increases your motivation levels. But what if there is more time for you to complete that task? In most of the cases, you will finish the task last minute. It is based on an interesting principle which states that work expands as to fill the time available for its completion. In other words, the amount of time that you give to complete that task is the time that takes you to complete that task. If you give yourself 4 hours to complete a project, it will take you 4 hours. But if you give yourself 2 hours to complete that same project, it will take you 2 hours. So give yourself little time than necessary so you get the work done in time. When you sit down to do a task, there is something that makes completing that project impossible. And no matter how hard we try to run away from it, it always creeps back in. And that is distractions. Social media, junk food, gossips, going out, entertainment are all distractions which keeps us away from most important tasks at hand. You don't need more time, but you need fewer distractions. Just 10 minutes of break time can turn into hours of scrolling reels if you are not careful. To counter this, you can set focus modes on your phone or keep your phone away while you are working. Indulge in deep work where you are free of distractions. It is only in deep work where masterpieces are created. Now, these were all the best time management techniques that will help you manage your time like a pro. But there is something very important which I have saved till now, and that important thing is managing time effectively doesn't mean you shouldn't have fun. Being more productive is the goal, but you should not forget about the fun time. Times where you don't follow a routine and times where you do whatever you want to do, but do those in limit. Once in a while, having fun is actually more productive for you because it helps prevent burnout. Work is very important, but so is play. Along with these time management techniques, you need to build a solid routine, and if you don't know what routine to do, then check these videos.